All right, 866-801-8255 is the Karen Hunter Show. We're here. We're going to take some calls. I'm just going to hit the phones. Let me go to Martin. Martin in Philly.
Hey, Karen, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. I wanted to talk about the 3 key agenda items I think candidates need to put forward for a Black agenda. First thing I would say is reparations, restorative justice, whatever you want to call it. That's the main issue. That should be the litmus test for every candidate when it comes to Black America. We were never given our reparations after Jim Crow, after slavery, and it's a major reason why we have a lot of issues in the community today.
All right, so let me ask you, wait,
Yep.
what, and Ta-Nehisi Coates is, to this day, the case for reparations, one of the most brilliant pieces, one of the smartest pieces I have heard, read, and ever on this topic. Brilliant. What does reparations look like in 2019, 2020?
I mean,
because that has to be. So here's the thing. Before we ask for something, we have to also tell people how to get it done, what we want to get done. Because I think we ask for the pie that we haven't even processed. What does that look like? And can I ask my people to stop being Puff Daddy? Everybody always wants to remix something. You know, there's something already, I'm going to add something to it. I'm going to do, we need to agree on some things. Today's hashtag unity. At some point, we're going to need to learn how to move as a unit on some things. So that's why we're doing the 3 things we should ask for. And then once we put them on paper, even if you don't agree with them all, march in lockstep. All right, I'm sorry, Martin. So what does reparations look like?
That's a great question. I mean, there's a plethora of things we can ask for. I mean, free down payments on houses, free college tuition for everybody that's an African American, things we were blocked out of in the early 20th century, that whites were able to access, we weren't. So whatever that looks like, I mean, I'm not an expert.
Mm-hmm.
But,
no, I know, but you have an opinion. So what's number 2? Right. What's number 2?
Number 2 for me would be mass incarceration. Right now, there are more Black men incarcerated in America than women globally.
So should they let them all out?
No, I'm not saying they should let us all out, but it's definitely an issue that needs to be addressed. I mean, it's devastating. It's
all right. So what is dealing with? Because again, we have to be more sophisticated in how we ask. I want you to deal with mass incarceration. What exactly do you want a candidate to do?
I really wasn't prepared for all that.
Yeah, but this is the problem, and I'm not bullying you or anything like that, Martin. But I think it's time for us, before we run off at the mouth, dial up a radio show, because this is not that show to do. We're an action show. So we need to be prepared with an action plan behind the things that we are asking for. How do we get them done? Because we could sit here all day with ideas. We've been having ideas for the last 50 years. What hasn't happened is a system hasn't been built. What hasn't happened is real actionable items haven't been put on the table. So some person's running over here doing this and somebody's running over here doing that. And we haven't come together to actually build anything substantial that would increase the business bases in our community, broaden the education of our children, put us in a self-sufficient place so that we're not needing anybody, including policing. When we talk about community policing, that should be on the table. What does that look like? So let me just get your 3rd item.
Say a federal jobs guarantee. That's my 3rd item.
Oh, and that wouldn't have worked out well for us during this last government shutdown.
No,
so that wasn't well thought out. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for participating. I'll give you a door prize. No, not at all.
I think those were all good. Those are all good suggestions. And what we're doing right now, I believe Randall Robinson has written a lot about how if Black people were to have a list of 10 things all across the country, we crowdsource, we come up with the top 10 things. And this is what we're essentially doing. The top 10 things, in this case 3, that we all think a candidate needs to have a position on. And we have that list of 10 things. It's in every barbershop. It's in every hair salon, every child care center, every laundromat, every grocery store, everywhere we go. It's in the church bulletin. These are the 10 things that the Black community has a need for political elected officials to have an opinion on. And then anytime an elected official comes and asks for our vote, what is your position on number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10? And if their position is agreeable, they can go in the "we still rocking with you, we're open to seeing where you're going to go" side. And if their positions are not agreeable, I'm sorry, you're no longer open for consideration. Doesn't matter how many chicken dinners you come to. We don't need no more donations to the church, although we'll take it, but not in exchange for our vote. And so we need to be clear that there has to be a structural framework for evaluation evaluation of any candidate. Now, with the point about reparations, I just want to say, this is going to sound hurtful. We're not getting reparations from this government. Not that we shouldn't agitate for it and talk about needing it and want it and desire for it. We're not going to get it. Period. Full stop. However, if we, as a people who spend over $1 trillion annually, were to create an economic structure where we could capture just 2, 3, maybe 5% of our own money, the money that we already spend, we could fund our own reparations without having to ask anyone. So there are things that we should rightfully ask an elected official to lead on. There are things that elected officials simply have no place doing because that's not their role. That's not their job. Now, it would be great if we lived in a racially just society. You know, I'm a racial justice lawyer. I want justice. I want racial equity. I want all of those things. But I live in this and my feet are on the ground, right? Like, I'm practical about where it is that we are. There are things that are within our locus of control, and there are things that we need elected officials to liaison between us and government in order to funnel resources towards our community. Reparations is not going to happen through an electoral space. However, we could do our own reparations, and we ain't got to ask nobody for that.
I have the need for reparations, or the reparations are owed.
Yes.
So that's a fact.
That is a fact.
We are
full
owed.
Stop.
But as we're thinking about even free college, affirmative action was put into place for Black people.
Come on now.
But white women and other folk have benefited from affirmative action way more than Black people. And that was designed for Black people. So when we talk about free college for Black people, there's going to be a whole lot of 23andMe's out there showing up Black.
Yes.
As they are with affirmative action.
Yes.
The one drop rule in reverse when you're giving out free things, because people know how to organize around getting free stuff.
That's right.
The only people who don't
would be us.
Right. So all of the free down payments and the free requires somebody to give you something, requires for you to apply for something and to compete in a system that already has told you that we're not going to play fair.
Right.
So I like what you're saying, Lurie, because it's what I say all the damn time. So it sounds brilliant to me when it came out of your mouth. I was like, yes. Why be weak when we can be strong?
We don't have to rely on them for that.
Why beg, borrow, and steal when we can build? Why?
I would suggest we do that because it's easier to do that knowing that it's never going to happen, but we can keep working towards, quote, progress. It's easier to do that than it is to sit in a room and figure out how we're going to do it for ourselves.
Not just that, but energy is finite. Right?
Yes.
And the amount of energy. So people think it's endless. It's not. It's not. No. I know. I crash every night. Like, whoo, child. What is it, 3 o'clock in the morning? I got to get up at 7. Done. Right? But if you put your energy, and this is why the collective works, because there's an exponential, just like compounding interest in your bank account.
That's right.
If 2 or more gather to do something, it's exponentially easier to do than one person or even 2 people doing it.
Right.
So let's get together to do this thing, which put it in a pool. Well, who presides over the pool? Now there's a question.
Right.
Right, because there's a trust factor.
Because
it'll be, I don't trust her.
Right.
I don't trust him.
14 years ago, when we was on the campaign, she stepped in front of me at the protest and got to hold the banner behind the Reverend Dr. Speaker.
She can't be trusted.
Right.
I can't trust her with that money. So, and definitely won't be Sean King, right? Because we don't trust. Anyway, so listen. So at that point, right? So then becomes that question, right? Then it's gonna be arguing just how we argue at funerals, right? It's like, we got to get rid of the pathology.
Right.
These things that keep showing up.
Right.
Let's start to fix that.
Right.
Like, if you are in a family where y'all fight over dumb stuff like Big Mama's bracelet at her funeral, y'all got a dysfunction that has to be fixed and dealt with in the moment, because y'all not going to go any further as a family. You definitely can't come to Wakanda.
Right.
And as a group, if everything is so fractured to the point where it's like, because we could do this tomorrow. And again, I'm going to keep bringing up Hydea Green because that was a test for me.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I thought this could happen.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Quickly. And it didn't. And I said, Is it the appetite? No, it's not. And now people are feeling bad because they can't do the thing that they may want to do. And then it's like, wow, so we have all of this money, but we don't have any to actually do anything with because we spend it and we're right at the check by check.
Right. So spending power and wealth are not the same thing.
No.
So spending one point whatever trillion dollars is not the same thing as having 1 trillion in wealth.
No.
And so when we have a call like that, when there's a real call to action and we can't make the call
at all, not even close.
Right.
That says a lot about our dysfunction. So
but
can
if
I
we
trust
were practicing
us to
Ujamaa, cooperative economics, and Ujima, collective work and responsibility, both of which speak to making our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and solving them together. Cooperative economics, to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them together. If those were our guiding principles, which can't no politician give us, right? So I'm going to also need us, as we're thinking about the types of questions that we're going to ask of every politician, we have to be clear and more sophisticated about what we are looking to politicians to do. And we already have talked extensively about how we are a Messiah type people. It's not our fault. It's not organic to us, I don't think. But I think slavery, colonization sort of have magnified these elements within our DNA. And we often look to elected officials similar to how we look to politicians. They are the anointed ones. They are the appointed leaders. They are the ones who provide the answers. That is absolutely wrong. You don't look to the politician to give you an answer. You look to the politician to enact the answer that your already healthy community has come up with and determined that it needs because of its own assessment of its own issues and recognition that we have some problems. Here are the solutions we want to see. Now, you elected official who we put into office and you came to our church and shook our hands and kissed our babies and gave a donation to our pastor. We want you to implement this solution that we have already come up with. All of this presupposes that we have done the hard work of actually organizing around leading our own community and not looking to outsiders or appointed people to do so.
Jay in New York.
Yes, good afternoon. Ms. Favors, I really enjoy your analysis on things and the way that you put forward. I have a quick question for you. I would like to know, have you ever heard of Mawada Baruti?
I can't say that I have.
Well, my sister, I think if you look him up and you get two of his books, Excuses, and Sovereignty, it will take your analysis to another level.
I'm going to put it on my list.
I have much respect for your analysis. So the reason why I asked you if you knew who he was. In regards to the subject matter with Jason Johnson, I think it is, I take issue with, why am I responsible to care what happens to Smollett? Why am I responsible to care what R. Kelly does? And why must I be responsible to identify if Kamala Harris is a black woman or not? I think their actions serve them based on the way they act in society. So why am I responsible to judge them? I mean, if you look at it, R. Kelly should be ostracized from the community. As someone who doesn't believe in homosexuality, I don't think it's my place to put any judgment on what happens to him. As far as Kamala Harris goes,
Jussie Smollett.
Oh, Jussie. So what? So hold on, Jay. Jussie Smollett was beaten, had a noose around his neck, and called both ethnic and homophobic slurs. As a human being, whether you ascribe to homosexuality or not, there should be some kind of outrage for the treatment of another human being like that.
Well, I think if that's the case, to be honest with you, Ms. Hunter, I would be in a constant outrage in regards to what white people have done to my people.
True, but
in regards to
say, absolutely, you're right.
You're right.
And but to say,
but I also think it's a hoax.
Oh, okay. Well, time will tell. Time will tell, right? Go ahead. What's your final thought
about that, Ms. Hunter?
What do I think about that? I'm reserving comment.
I said, why should I worry about that? I don't care about him.
Okay.
I can't.
You sound like you do care. Because if you don't care, then there's no emotional attachment at all. And you're now raising your voice. And you're getting a little huffy.
And that's
so
why I don't
care.
address it.
You care, though.
No. I'm saying to you, I'm not addressing it, so I'm leaving it alone.
Yeah, but
when
you're
you
not.
Talk about
because you brought it into
Kelly,
the conversation. Because if you really didn't care, here's the thing. There are a lot of things I don't care about, and you never hear me talk about them. Because I don't care. I don't give a damn. You care. You care enough to bring it into the conversation, and you care enough to defend it in a way that's very, very emotionally attached to your not caring, which tells me you care deeply.
Let me finish the point.
I'm going to let you finish the point.
Because you think that I should care.
I don't really care whether you care. You brought them up. So I wouldn't know whether you cared or not if you didn't bring them up and taught me that you do care.
I was replying to Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Johnson wasn't talking to you. Or was he?
Because he was talking to the audience.
Was he talking to you? Play the clip again.
Y'all Negroes know who you were because you're the same ones who were attacking Kamala Harris, defending R. Kelly, and ain't said shit about Jussie Smollett.
Was he talking about you, Jay?
He was talking about everyone.
Nope. He specifically said y'all Negroes. And you know who you are. So is it you? Is it hit dog
my interpretation.
All right,
that he was talking to
because he doesn't know you. Jay?
Why would he say the Hotep Negroes?
Are you a Hotep Negro?
Why would he just identify
Did he say Hotep?
Negroes?
Play it again.
I consider myself a Hotep Negro.
Oh, okay. All right. So there we go. All right.
Which is a constituency.
That's a constituency.
That is it may be a voting block. I don't know that they vote.
Do you vote, Jay?
Yes, Ms. Hunter. I vote, and in the last election, I registered over 200 people to vote.
All right, appreciate that.
Okay,
That's
but
awesome.
my candidate appealed to what I wanted them to appeal
That's fine.
and what I felt would help my community, Ms. Hunter.
I appreciate that. That's the way we should do that. Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, can I leave you with this, Ms. Hunter?
Sure, sir.
I think when you talk about DOS,
What's
would
DOS?
like for you, if you could,
What's DOS?
to have someone
What is DOS?
To have someone on to explain what DOS is.
Stop filibustering. What's DOS?
DOS is descendants of slaves.
Okay.
Oh.
Is it?
Okay, Ms. Hunter.
What?
Ms. Hunter,
What happened?
Ms. Hunter, can I finish this?
Go ahead. Hurry up. You got 2 seconds.
Ms. Hunter?
Hurry up. Just go. Gosh.
Okay, I would like for you to have on Yvette Carnell.
Yes, I've had her on. I've had her on, and she'll be invited on again. Yes, I got no problem with that. I talk to everybody, unlike some people. I talk to people I don't like. I talk to people that I like. I talk to people that I don't know. We have an open forum here. Absolutely. Yvette Carnell has been on this show. She'll probably be on again. I will invite her back. I have no problem with that. Why didn't I know what DOS was? Did you know, Lurie?
I've heard the.
All right.
Yeah, there's a lot. Is
Okay.
this before the break or after the break?
We got to go to break.
Okay. Yeah.
Hotep to everybody. We'll be back.